everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, if you're new to the show, welcome. What we do in the show is we take a look at some of the movies coming out on Friday, and we will honor said movie with making a top 5 list for the week. And the cool thing about the show is we have no idea what the hell's going to come out of our mouths because it's live, and we don't know each other's lists. So it's a lot of fun to guess and whatnot. So this is our show. It's Top 5 Saturdays Live. But I mean, I think there's a fucking typo because this week it's going to be Top 7 Saturdays Live. Brian, would you like to explain why, and would you like to explain our topic for this week?
Well, this Friday is October 7th, and I didn't realize that until, 2 days ago. So our topic, we're honoring The Birth of a Nation, which is the company distributing the film is Fox Searchlight. And, I said, you know what? It's hard to come up with 5. So I decided, let's just do 7. It was a weird coincidence. So I'm like, why not? It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Maybe in the future, if we do a more difficult topic, 5. But for right now, this is the first time. So welcome to Top 7 Saturdays Live, the spinoff to Top 5 Saturdays Live. I don't even know why I'm here, but this joke is going on way too long. Yes. Okay. So we're honoring Fox Searchlight films. Fox Searchlight, great company, lots of great films. Always like best of the year material. There hasn't really been one year that's gone by within the last maybe 3 or 4 years that a Fox Searchlight film has not been on my top 10 list. Yeah, I'm really stoked to honor this company. I've always been a fan of honoring companies, and I think the only other company we've honored is Disney. So yeah, Fox Searchlight, fucking lit.
Yeah, it would be great to actually just touch upon purely independent films. There might be a couple of blockbusters thrown in there, but blockbusters in terms of medium-sized films to them, because Fox Searchlight is the kind of independent Oscar-running business of or sub-business of 20th Century Fox. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about it and whatnot. But before we begin, Brian, how's it going? How's the good old college life?
The college life is pretty good. I don't like washing clothes. The dryer kind of ruined my comforter. So
yeah,
whatever. But other than that, it's pretty good. How are you, man?
Oh, just another week in paradise, I guess. I'm excited for this week because Birth of a Nation's coming out, and Fox Searchlight did that one, so that's why we're doing this week's episode. So let's not waste any time since we had to do 7 of these bastards this week. It's top 7 with October 7th and whatnot, and it's Halloween month, so anything can be weird and superstitious. So that's the route we're going this month. We got to mix it up for you guys. We can't just be stale the whole time. All right, so let's, without any further ado, let's jump into the very first time ever on the show, number 7. Brian, what is your number 7 pick for your favorite Fox Searchlight film of all time so far?
This one is pretty overlooked. It's critically beloved, but it's very overlooked. I know you love this film. I don't even know if it's on your list, but I think it might be because I know you really praise this film. Ever since I met you, you've been praising this film. My number 7 is 1 Hour Photo.
Okay.
Great film. Probably the scariest performance that Robin Williams has ever given. He plays Cy. He's a 1 hour photo guy at this Walmart-like place. And then he starts to get obsessed with this one particular family, and it's really terrifying. This is a genuinely terrifying film. I remember when I first watched it, I was very scared. At the time, I knew Robin Williams was a high-caliber talent, but I did not expect him to do a film like this. And then shortly after this, I saw Insomnia, which also came out the same year, not Fox Searchlight, but he got to do this and Insomnia the same year, so he got to play 2 creepy guys in 1 year. That shows the dedication that this guy gave in his performances. And this film really does shine because of him. He's so creepy in this movie. The sequence in the hotel where he's smile, just smile. I still can't even believe that was Robin Williams giving that performance, because generally Robin Williams plays the good guy. He never plays the bad guy. Sure, he's played the in comedies before, but not this weird, psychologically weird. And at the end, when he reveals his problems and stuff, what happened to him in the past, it really I was just damn, that was incredible. I think he should have gotten some kind of award recognition for this movie. I think it has like an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, but no one ever talks about this film. When Robin Williams passed away, no one talked about it. No one talked about this film even before he passed away. Like, it's really upsetting. I think it's a vastly fantastic film. I think everyone should check it out. It is very weird. It's not for everybody, but if you love Robin Williams and you love seeing comedic actors do dramatic performances, this is a film that you definitely should check out. So 1 Hour Photo is my number 7.
And I am going to have to pass. All right, so yeah, it's a good pick. And to counteract with yours, I'm going to go on the other side of the coin. My number 7 pick for my favorite Fox Searchlight film, it might be the very first one I remember ever seeing. And this is one of those movies that was quoted by many people when I was in school. It was one of those movies in middle school where everyone was talking about it. And still to this day, if you watch it, not only is it funny, but it's got a lot of great one-liners. I'm going with Super Troopers, baby. It's a pretty damn funny movie. And plus, Broken Lizard, a lot of people don't really care for them that much. I actually like them quite a bit. I like Super Troopers. Club Dread's fine. Beer Fest is really good. And I actually like the Slam and Salmon. And they're actually doing Super Troopers 2 coming out next year at some point. That was all raised by fans. And it was like one of the fastest campaigns I've ever seen. Like, it was God, I forgot how much money they needed, but they raised like $3 million, something like that in a day. It was fucking nuts. But that just shows you the cult fan base for this film. And Super Troopers is one of those. It follows a bunch of roadside state troopers as they encounter people while pulling them over and just acting pretty dumb. But it's a really funny movie from a group of guys that wanted to break onto the scene in Hollywood, and I think this is the film to do that. There's really nothing more to say. It's just one of those like cult comedy classics that you hear everyone talking about, the one-liners from that movie are still repeated to this day. When you have like a liter of cola, or when you have right meow, or have the fucking guys in the backseat tripping on mushrooms, like in I think it was like licking something. Either way, there's a lot of memorable moments and lines from this film that people still talk about to this day. And this was like one of those films back in middle school where everyone was talking about it. And because it was rated R and we were all underage, so it's like, oh, you want to see some titties? You want to see the F word? It's like Jesus, like you're 13 years old, calm down. But I was that way too. So yeah, Super Troopers is my number 7. I know it's not on your list, Brian, so talk about it.
Haven't seen it. Sorry.
The fuck? Okay, so listen, I realize that I'm older than you, but there's absolutely no way in hell that you should give me any excuse as to why you haven't seen this yet. Like, this is one of those movies that you need to have had seen by now.
Sorry. Jeez. You say this all the time. You can't see everything. Neither can I.
Oh, bull. Don't use that excuse on Super Troopers. Super Troopers is a classic, son. All right. That is my number 7. Moving on to number 6.
Very relatable film to me. The characters just like me. My number 6 is The Way, Way Back.
Okay, I never saw that one, so convince me and the people watching right now.
Look, if you like coming-of-age films, if you like movies where, it's basically kids trying to find their true calling, their true selves, this is a really excellent example of it. This movie the kid's name is Duncan, who was played so well by Liam James, and this film was great. It was something really enjoyable. It was so funny. It was so heartfelt. It was directed and written by Nat Faxon and Jim Rash. And obviously those two surprisingly won an Oscar for co-writing The Descendants, which unfortunately couldn't make this list. And Chase knows I love that film like very much. Couldn't make it. But yeah, they wrote and directed this. I gotta give major props. The script and the direction are both fantastic. The performances from everybody is great. Steve Carell plays a huge dick in this movie, and he's incredible. Sam Rockwell, I think, should have gotten the Best Supporting Actor nomination for this film because this showed his like true comedic chops. Like the comedy came from him, but he's the reason why this Duncan kid basically finds out who he is and basically makes him change, like, oh, stop being shy, stop being lonely, all that stuff. It's so good, so relatable to me. I was like that like 5 years ago. I wasn't really the most outgoing kid. I was shy. I still am to this day. I'm not gonna hide it. But This movie is just relatable to pretty much everyone. Anyone could relate to it. People my age, people's Chase age, older than us. Anyone could relate to this film. It's so great, so underrated. More people should have seen when it came out in 2013, which I thought was a great year for indies. And I just adore this film very, very much. And if you like coming-of-age films, you gotta check this one out because this one is so damn good. The Way Back is my number 6.
Yeah, I've never seen it. It was one of those movies that came out during that summer that I just did not catch. But that's not the most shocking thing about what you just said. You're telling me in your top 7 slots, The Descendants is not on there because I pegged that in your at least top 2.
Yeah, the thing is,
what
like,
the hell?
I want to put someone relatable to me on the list. Like, I want to give some kind of relatability to it. Look, I said everything I need to say about the Descendants on the Clooney episode. So I mean, that's there and there. It's number 8, The Descendants. Like and another reason why I wanted to put 1 Hour Photo is because no one talks about it. I mean, now you said it's on your list, so you and I are probably the only 2 people who give a fuck about that movie. So like, yeah, I know, shocking.
Okay, whatever we say there, champ. All right, my number 6. A lot of people are gonna be really shocked at this because I like this movie quite a bit, and it's this low on my list. But that just shows you how hard this list was to make up.
Oh no.
Number 6, I'm going to go with the one movie that still makes me angry every single time I watch it because I've had exes just like that in the past, and that would be 500 Days of Summer with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. I've said what I've needed to say about this movie. It's one of those movies where it's written by 2 dudes, it's directed by a dude, but yeah, it's got some of the most authentic kind of relationship patterns you would see in a real-life relationship that you would go through, and it's got real actions from real characters, and you feel like you're watching someone from your past. That's why I get so angry at the end of the movie from what happens, because it's like, God damn it, I just spent this whole journey and you just did this to him. What the fuck you doing, Summer? Get out of here. Fuck out of here. So I like 500 Days of Summer quite a bit. It's quirky, it's funny, it's heartfelt, it's a really great romance film, but it's also a kind of a interesting take on a musical-ish but it really kind of slaps you with that ending and kind of just topples down that Hollywood ending a little bit and throws you something different. It is a little cheesy after that initial ending because of the little tag at the end, but I'll let it slide because I like the ending so much. I'm actually going to bet that this is on your list, so Brian's probably going to pass.
This is not on my list.
What is wrong with you this week? Have you been taking drugs, son?
This was a really difficult list for me.
This was for me too, but I figure
this is the most difficult list I think I've ever done. I'm telling you that right now, and that's even more difficult than that Spielberg list we did last year, because a lot of these movies are like so loved to me. I love 500 Days of Summer. It's definitely in my top 10, like with The Descendants, but it's just not my top 5 because, like I said, the top 5 films I've seen more than 500 Days of Summer. I appreciate them more than 500 Days of Summer, and I love 500 Days of Summer. Like, I really love this film. I love it to death. I'm not a romance film fan whatsoever, but I appreciate the way it's done in this film because of the way it's directed, the way it's written, and the way it's acted from Gordon-Levitt and Deschanel. I appreciate the way it's done. Yes, I agree with you. I get angry every time I watch it, and the ending just infuriates me. But I'm glad that it's on one of our lists. That's a good thing, you know?
Yeah, let's put it to you this way. I am notorious for watching it on a couch and punching the nearest pillow next to me when that shit does goes down. So, I'm actually a little shocked now because I thought The Descendants or 500 Days of Summer would be on there, so I have no clue what the hell your list is now.
You'll figure it. You already know my number 1.
You have thrown me into so much confusion right now. I can't even continue on the show, and we're not even to the actual top 5 yet.
Well, now we're going into the top 5, so let's go.
Jesus, kid. All right. Number 5, go, boy. Take it away.
Number 5, The Wrestler.
Okay.
Wrestler. Fantastic film. One of the best boxing films I've ever seen, or sports films, wrestling. Wait, why did I say boxing? I don't even know what's going on. Anyway, this is one of the best written films ever because in my film story analysis class, which is basically like going on character development, reading screenplays, analyzing them, all that stuff, we watched a clip from The Wrestler, and we watched the clip like close to the end, or no, the clip with him in the store, and then that guy's like, "Hey, I know you. You were that wrestler from like 30 years ago." Like that clip. Like, I mean, Mickey Rourke, I think, should have won the Academy Award for this film. I don't know why they had to give it to Sean Penn for Milk. Look, Sean Penn was great in that movie. That movie's great itself, but The Wrestler was something so special because this was Mickey Rourke's comeback, and it showed that he could have true potential acting chops, just like a Stallone in Rocky or a Schwarzenegger in that Maggie film. It's like that in a way. And I thought Mickey Rourke was incredible. I mean, this was filmed here in New Jersey, all over the state. It was filmed like down the road from my hometown. It was great. My dad could have almost met Mickey Rourke. The hospital sequence, that's where my dad worked for a little bit. But unfortunately, the day that they were at the hospital, my dad was not there. And my dad is a huge, huge, huge fan of Mickey Rourke. I mean, The Pope of Greenwich Village is like one of my dad's favorite films ever. And Diner is another one of his. So it's like, ooh, that. But I love the way it's directed and written. It's directed by Darren Aronofsky, who also directed another Fox Searchlight film, which is great, Black Swan, which is also not on the list. I wanted to put that. See, there were so many great films. It's like really hard to exclude any of them. But The Wrestler is so amazing to me. It felt like a true story. It was directed so well. The writing, the ending makes me cry. The performance is not only Rourke, but also Marissa Tomei, who was fantastic in the movie. I love The Wrestler. I think it has a great story to it, great layers to it. If anyone out there has not checked this out, please do yourself a favor and check this movie out. This movie deserves more recognition. Mickey Rourke really should have won the Academy Award for this film, and it is a crime that he did not win. The end.
Okay. I'm going to pass.
Yay.
Wow, your list is going to be completely different from mine. All right, so my number 5, I'm going to go with the very first time I felt like this actor was here to stay in Hollywood for good by watching this one on the big screen with 6 people in the theater, because it was the first NC-17 movie I saw in theaters and I paid money to go see. I'm going with Shame. If you guys have not seen Shame, good old Fassbender and his horse Dick. He plays a sex addict, and we basically just kind of see him go throughout his life. He has a lot of one-night stands and whatnot, and it's hurting him emotionally, and he doesn't know how to fix it. He doesn't know how to fix himself, and he's just a broken individual, and it's a really good kind of depressing look, kind of raw look, no pun intended, look at this addiction and what it can do to someone. And it gets into some really creepy territory when his sister, played by Carey Mulligan, comes into town. You think it's going to go one way, and it's like, God damn it, please do not go that way. And they don't, but they could have. And no, it's just a really fascinating look about sexual addiction. And Fassbender delivers one of the best performances of his career, next to 12 Years a Slave, which is also a first Fox Searchlight movie, which I did not put on my list. But Shame, I think, is the best thing that he's done so far. And it's a really smaller film. And it's actually from the same director as 12 Years a Slave, so that's what's kind of interesting about it. But Shame was the very first time I saw Fassbender as a main character. I was blown away on how gritty and realistic it kind of felt. It felt grounded. Like I felt like I was watching 2 characters roaming around the city and whatnot. So, yeah, I love Shame quite a bit. And when I saw it in theaters, I know you guys want to hear this story. So I walked in there. I sat down. There were 2 women behind me. There was a guy in front of me, and there was a guy in a trench coat that literally came in like 10 minutes later, and we all knew what he was doing up there. So, yeah, that was my theater experience. It was very small and minute, and there was a long sex scene in the middle of it, and it doesn't really bother me because I've seen more hardcore sex scenes than that, and it was a really kind of interesting experience to see amongst those people. So Shame is my number 5.
Good-ass film. Really fucking good.
What the hell, Brian? Do you just not have anything on your list that's on my list? Like, what the fuck, man? What's going on?
What do you mean? You have 2 films that are on my list.
That's it, though. It sounds like
not yet. You gotta wait until I get to my 4. Yeah, I think my number 4 is on your list.
It's not. No, it's not. My number 4 is a movie that you probably have not seen, and that most people have not seen. I blind bought the DVD because I heard such great things about it. Blown away, but we'll get to it in just a second.
Well, you won't know, but also, like, Shame, you said, I I think this should have been the film that got Fassbender his first Oscar nomination. Look, 12 Years a Slave is amazing. Not on my list either. But I think Shane was great. Unfortunately, I don't even think they ever play NC-17 films like around where I live. I don't even know if they ever do that because it's like one comes out every like 10 years. So it's like, I don't know, honestly. Do I want to see one in the theater? Sure. I'm sure it's something that everyone has to do, should do at least one time in their life. But great film, really great film. I love it. I only saw it one time, and that was like 3 years ago, so I don't really remember it all too well. So when you were describing the plot, I'm like, oh, that's right, because I kind of wanted to rewatch it again, and I kind of wanted to go in blind. But when you said,
I guess I fucked that up for you.
Nah, you didn't really spoil much. It's fine. I started to remember things, so yeah. Okay.
Well, you know what's that whole day was fascinating because I saw
that sounded like quite a fascinating day.
No. Like I saw a double feature that day, and I saw Shame and I saw Melancholia. So I saw two depressing films back to back. I felt like I needed to go into therapy afterwards. So, and that's a great film as well.
My chest just like exploded when you said Melancholia.
Yeah. Melancholia. Unfortunately, Fox Searchlight did not do it. It was done by Magnolia, but maybe we'll do that list for another day. I guess I did my number 5. So we're on to number 4 now, and you said that there's no fucking way that we have the same number 4.
I didn't say we have the same number 4. I was just hoping that somehow this film would be on your list. It's probably in your top 10, just not in your top 7. All right, my number 4 is Birdman.
Okay.
I love this film. It was my second favorite film in 2014. I still will go on a limb by saying Michael Keaton gave the best performance by a lead actor of 2014. Look, I know everyone's going to be like, oh, Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal gave my second favorite lead actor performance that year. To me, the best 2 performances of the whole year were Michael Keaton and J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. Those were the 2 best performances, in my opinion, of 2014. As a filmmaker, this is a filmmaker's film. The star of the film is not Michael Keaton. It's not the actors. It's Alejandro G. Inarritu. And the guy's direction is so well crafted. It is one of the best directed films of the decade so far. It is one of the best shot films ever. I mean, the whole one-take, fantasy-like feeling, it's beautiful. It's amazing. Emmanuel Lubezki, bravo, sir. All the performances, like other than Michael Keaton, Edward Norton, Emma Stone, Zach Galifianakis, Naomi Watts, all great performances. Writing, fantastic. Very original film. I saw this in the theater as well. This was a great theater experience. I was dying to go see this movie, and I finally got to go see it. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to see it, but I got to see it. I was in love with it. I will admit that at first I was like, do I love it or do I just like it? But then over time, I'm like, I loved it. I love it. I can't. I don't know if I have any problems with it. I just think it's a perfect story, and it was a perfect comeback for Michael Keaton. And now Michael Keaton's doing so many great projects. Like, I mean, he did Spotlight. He's going to be in a new Spider-Man movie. I cannot wait to see whatever else Michael Keaton does now, especially after this movie. I still will go on and say that he deserved the Oscar. Do I think this film should have won Best Picture? I don't know. I still don't know. Director? Yes. Picture? I don't know. Because Boyhood, for what it did, kind of should have won. In my eyes, Whiplash should have won because that was the best film that came out that year. But yeah, Birdman is just a beautifully done story. It's very funny, very sad. I love it so much. Birdman is my number 4.
Yeah, it's not on my list. But then again, when you guys see both of our honorable mentions, it was hard to put this list together. And Birdman's a great film, but it is not my favorite one-shot film. I saw an actual one-shot that was shot in real time with no edits called Victoria, which was a really great foreign film. I also really like Irreversible, which is a French film. It's not really all one shot, but it's told in long segments and whatnot, kind of like what Birdman is, just edited to appear as one shot. And I really like that movie Silent House with Elizabeth Olsen. I thought that was really, really cool.
That's a good film.
Yeah, that's a really great one-shot. So Birdman is good, but since I like those films better as a one-shot movie, I couldn't good in conscience put that movie on my list, considering the fact that there's, 4 other movies that I thought were a little bit more powerful than Birdman, even though I own Birdman on Blu-ray, so it's not like I'm bashing it. I like it quite a bit. Once again, this list was really fucking hard to do. So, yeah, it's a great pick. My number 4, I basically picked up because it was the only movie I did not see that was nominated for a Best Actor nom, and I was like, okay, that looks interesting, and I just never got around to it. It never came to Dallas for some weird reason. I probably did. I just didn't pay attention, but I blind bought it because, like I said, I heard so many great things about it, and when I watched it, I was blown away on how committed John Hawkes was in The Sessions.
That's a good film. That's a good film.
So underrated. No one ever talks about this one. When you see what John Hawkes is doing with the I forgot what the medical condition he has in the movie, but polio. Thank you. So, I mean, he's pretty much paralyzed. So, and he's like, kind of like at like a crooked angle with all over his body. And he said that he screwed up his back to do this. I'm not saying that you have to like harm yourself, but the fact that he went method and it completely paid off, because not only did I believe everything that was happening, he was also nominated, and for very good reason. I think it's just a really tender love story. That's the best way to put it. Helen Hunt plays this sex therapist who basically wait, was she the sex worker or was she the therapist?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, she was the sex worker. So she is a person that is hired by John Hawkes to basically have him lose his virginity, correct? It was lose his virginity?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but trust me, guys, it's good. And I do own it. It's back there. I'm not just lying. But yeah, she's a sex worker. He hires her so he can finally have sex. And it's just kind of like a really kind of beautiful looking movie in terms of the story and the characters. Because when you have this guy who is paralyzed and can't really move, but all he wants to do is just enjoy a simple activity that most humans are naturally, biologically programmed to do, it's kind of really just kind of poignant and just kind of makes you appreciate human life and just what we are capable of as humans and what we desire and what we crave and stuff. And just the fact that he wanted to be touched is so sad and so heartbreaking. Like, he just wanted to have sex.
It is really sad. He's
just a human, guys. Like, and just because you have polio or just because you have a medical condition doesn't mean you can't get your rocks off. Because, like I said, all humans are biologically wired to have sex. So the fact that this guy was driven to do it, and the fact that he kind of fell in love with Helen Hunt, and Helen Hunt kind of really dug him, and I'm not going to tell you how it ends or whatnot, but it's just a really sad movie, but it's a really great love story, and just kind of showcases an aspect about relationships that is taboo in films, but really kind of showcases it in a beautiful light. And I can't praise it high enough. John Hawkes, thank you, sir. This was a great one. So The Sessions is my number 4. Yeah. So Brian, I'm assuming it's not on your list.
Hello, Academy. Yes. Could you explain to me why you didn't nominate John Hawkes for this movie and you nominated Helen Hunt instead? Like, yeah, fuck you too. Yeah, fuck you. Goodbye. I love it. Great film. John Hawkes should have been nominated. He was nominated for everything else. Why wasn't he nominated for this look?
Well, and the thing is, like, Helen Hunt was good too, but
she was good, but he carried the film. It was his story.
His movie. Yeah, it was a story.
And that was a great Best Actor year. I mean, the one that I would have, that was a very good year for Best Actor. It was Daniel Day-Lewis won, so no one would have beat him for Lincoln. Denzel for Flight. Hugh Jackman for Les Mis. Bradley Cooper for Civil Lions. And Joaquin for The Master. That's a good – all those performances are good. Personally, in my opinion, I wouldn't have taken off any of them. But, damn it. No, it's a great film. Great film.
Oh, no. She is a therapist. See, I was wondering, like, it says she's a therapist, and I remember, like, she tries to help him, like, she like touches him and stuff. And, like, she's the one that finally gives in and has sex with him, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. because she creates that bond with them, so she figures it would just be best if she did it for him instead of hiring someone. Okay, yeah. But if you guys have not checked this shit out, please do. It is definitely worth your time. And John Hawkes, Jesus Christ, like when you see how he contorted his body the entire movie, it's incredible. So,
and fun fact. Well, I mean, it's not a fun fact, but the director of the film has polio himself.
Well, I mean, that makes total sense for someone to kind of direct him to act like that, kind of move like that, kind of lie there and be convincing. Because listen, he doesn't really get up that much in the movie. I think he gets up maybe once. He's literally either in a breathing tube or he's on a bed. Like that's what John Hawkes' performance is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing. The scenes where he's at the house and then William H. Macy's priest character comes over with the beer. That I just love that. That was funny.
Yeah, no, it's actually a really kind of like sweet and funny movie and stuff. So yeah, no, I check it out. It's definitely worth it. So guys, we're getting into our top 3 now, and this is going to get really sweaty and really dirty. I'm excited to kind of duke it out as to why Brian didn't put certain films on there. But hey, it's not my list. Yeah, I'm really confused as to what he's going to put on there since he doesn't even have even the Descendants on there. So
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, fine. Blow me away. Please convince me as to why your top 3 are the way they are. So starting with number 3, what do you got?
Number 3 is a film that is easily has just become one of my favorite films of all time. Is I think one of the most original films I've ever seen. It's one of the best screenplays of the last 10 years, and the film came out 10 years ago. My number 3 is Little Miss Sunshine.
Okay, good pick. Not on my list, but good pick.
This is a incredible film, and I'll explain why. Not only because of the script, not only because of the direction. These characters, these 6 characters, all of them have their shining moments. All of them are well developed. All of them are well realized. Every single character has their particular problem. This is a true definition of a dysfunctional family done well. Every actor in this movie, these 6 leads are all incredible. You got Greg Kinnear as the father, who is trying to be so successful with sales and stuff, and then his boss, like the Stan guy, Stan. Well, that's Bryan Cranston, which was a great little cameo, and this was like right before Malcolm in the Middle ended. So I was like, why does he have? Oh, okay, that's kind of funny. And then you have Toni Collette, who's the mother of this. She has her problems. She's kind of like anxiety. She smokes. She does all this stuff. You got her brother, who is a gay suicidal man, played by Steve Carell. Then you got the kids, Paul Dano, a mute who wants to go into the Air Force, who's colorblind, which was really upsetting. The movie's 10 years old. Whatever. And then obviously Abigail Breslin, who is the heart and gold of this movie, playing Olive. She enters this pageant. They drive to California. And then the last performance you got is Alan Arkin as the grandfather, who, before I get into the rest of this, I just want to say this right now. Alan Arkin was amazing in this film. But how do you give him the Oscar over Eddie Murphy playing someone so different, playing a drug addict musician? Then I'm sorry. I don't agree with this win. That's just my opinion. And people down below could say, if you thought Alan Arkin deserved the Oscar over Eddie Murphy, because I thought Eddie Murphy should have won that year personally. But yeah, the characters are all great. I love the dance sequence at the end of the pageant. That was funny. This movie is really hilarious. Everyone's funny. Everyone's heartfelt. I love everybody in this movie. I think it won the Screen Actors Guild for Best Cast, and well-deserving. If it did win, it deserves that because, like I said, all 6 of these performances were great. Every single one of them was fantastic. If there was an Oscar for Best Cast, I would have given it to this movie for 2006. It was written by Michael Arndt, who is also known for writing Toy Story 3, and he co-wrote The Force Awakens with J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan, which is awesome. And then these guys are directing a which is coming out next year called Battle of the Sexes with Steve Carell and Emma Stone. It's like about some like big tennis match or something where she's like Billie Jean King or something, and it sounds great. I love Little Miss Sunshine. I think it's a very important film for filmmaking, especially if you're a screenwriter. If you're going into screenwriting, this is a screenplay that you should definitely look at because of how well realized everything is, how put together everything is, how well paced everything is, how it doesn't like rush anything or drops the ball. Like, it's a perfect screenplay. I love Little Miss Sunshine. One of my favorite films ever made. Truly fantastic. My number 3.
Yeah, listen, if I were to pinpoint two of the most memorable dysfunctional family movies or shows in the past like 10 years, I would put Shameless and Little Miss Sunshine. Like that was the type of movie where if you like those dysfunctional family dramas, darkly comedic family dramas, then this is the one for you. Everything that Brian says, I echo. And yeah, when you watch the movie and then when you watch a bunch of Shameless, you realize it's almost like if the Gallaghers went to the beauty pageant, like this is what it'd probably be like. So, yeah, that's a great pick. So my number 3, I'm gonna go with Brian's number 7. I'm gonna go with 1 Hour Photo. I don't know why it's so low on your list, sir.
Only saw it 1 time or 2 times.
When Robin Williams passed away, everyone will remember him for like Good Will Hunting, Dead Poet Society, Good Morning Vietnam, or Aladdin. But my favorite performance he's ever done was 1 Hour Photo. And this is the one where it got swept under the rug, didn't get nominated, didn't really get that much praise. It's like, it happened. It went into the theater for a little bit and just left. It's almost like that one guy that comes like 2 hours late to a party and is just like, yo, what's up, everyone? And then just leaves. That's what 1 Hour Photo was. But if you were able to like catch the film in theaters or catch it on DVD or stream it or whatever, you realize that this is one of the creepiest movies that Robin Williams had ever attempted. It's just a really great kind of psychological thriller, and it's a slow burn. It's not even like that fast paced. He plays a photo clerk at a grocery store. You guys remember those back in the day? I do. And then he starts to really kind of obsess over this family and whatnot. And you kind of think to yourself, holy shit, this could really fucking happen. Someone could look at the photos like that back in the day when, those were photo labs were relevant. And someone could look at your photos and be like, yeah, I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna start like stalking you. It's like, that's scary to think about. But at the same time, even though he is like a stalker, you still feel sympathy for him, and that's what great direction and great writing does. Because if he was just a straight up stalker, we wouldn't give 2 flying shits about him. But he's very reserved, he's very quiet and very shy, and so that's why we kind of feel sympathetic towards him, because we're just like, Sai, we want you to like go interact with people and like not be so weird, get a little bit of social interaction with people and whatnot. But he just can't for some reason. Then when he gets into the stalker element of the film, you're like, Sai, why are you doing this, buddy? Come on, I'll be your friend. Fuck it, I will be your friend, Sai. So yeah, it's really well shot. It's really well paced. Great slow burn thriller with a blonde Robin Williams. He looks like Eminem's dad. It's fantastic. So that is my favorite Robin Williams performance for sure. My favorite Robin Williams movie, and is my number 3 Fox Searchlight picture film. So Brian already talked about it.
Talking about this film, I really do want to rewatch it again. It's just, the thing is, after he died, I was really scared to watch this again. Like, I was really scared to watch any of the terrifying stuff that he did. I wanted to just watch the lighthearted stuff he did. Even Good Will Hunting, I wanted to watch. I didn't want to watch this again. But it is such a great film. It's so good, this film. And, I mean, is it rewatchable? No, it's not. It's not a film that you would want to rewatch over and over again. But if you want to rewatch a great Robin Williams performance, this is definitely one. If I had to do like a top 5 Robin Williams performances, this would definitely most certainly be in the top 5. This would definitely be easily in the top 5. It's not my favorite performance he's done. I can't think of it. Maybe I think my favorite performance he's done is Dead Poet Society, but this still is a fucking stellar film, and I love it so much. So much.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So yeah, no reason to talk about it anymore. We already talked about it earlier. So yeah, yep. Guys, we're getting to our top 2 now. And
guesses, let's go. I love these guesses. I love this.
Oh, fuck, hold on, everyone. The light has to come on. I'm doing this live because that's the way I roll. So if you guys know what my stomach looks like, this is what it looks like. You guys like that shit? All right, I'm probably going to go to jail now. All right. Ugh. Just chill, everyone. We're having fun here. All right. I just hate it. Every time when me and Brian like filming like around this time, it just like it's fine at first and then just slowly gets dark and I'm just like, wow, what the fuck are you doing? All right. Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of guess the number 2 slots. Brian already knows the wrestler is on one of those slots, but what's the other one? And where is the wrestler? So, but for Brian's, I have no fucking clue. So please enlighten me and the viewers as to what your number 2 is.
My number 2 is in my top 10 favorite films of all time. I'm sorry. Look, here's the thing. I will be honest with you before I reveal the title of this film. I had no interest at all of watching this film. Not whatsoever. It didn't sound interesting to me. It just sounded like some generic, like rom-com type of thing. But yet, when I found that it had more layers to it, and I heard all the great stuff, and I like all 4 of the lead actors in this film, and I like the director of the film, who's also known for directing another Fox Searchlight film. Ladies and gentlemen, my number 2 is a film I don't even think Chase has seen. My number 2 is Sideways.
No, I still have not seen it to this day.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is, like I just said, this is one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. Sideways is a brilliant piece of cinema. This is, like I brought up with Little Miss Sunshine, this is one of the best screenplays, adapted screenplays ever. It won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. The dialogue in this film is fucking amazing. The characters are great. You have Paul Giamatti, you have Thomas Hayden Church, Virginia Madsen, and Sandra Oh. The plot is very simple. It sounds kind of dumb, but when you watch the movie, it is kind of heartbreaking. So Thomas Hayden Church's character is getting married. And Paul Giamatti is not only his best man, but he's also his best friend. So for 1 week, they go up to wine country for the week, just for one guy's thing before he goes back to get married. And Miles is named Paul Giamatti, and Jack is named Thomas Hayden Church. And Jack's like, hey, Miles, I just want to do one thing this weekend. I want to get laid one last time before I get married. And at first I'm like, I remember I paused and I'm like, okay, that sounds literally like the dumbest thing ever. What? You want to get laid before you get married? Like, who the fuck do you think you are? But the movie was so charming, so funny. It's directed by Alexander Payne, who directed The Descendants. And I don't know why. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, this film's great and everything. But, like, not a lot of people talk about when it comes to, like, the best Fox Searchlight Pictures films. I mean, this film got nominated for Best Picture. Alexander Payne was nominated for Director. Like I said, the script won. Thomas Hayden Church was nominated for Supporting Actor. Virginia Madsen, who was gorgeous as fuck in this movie, in my personal opinion, she got nominated for Supporting Actress. I don't know why Paul Giamatti did not get nominated, but then again, 2004 was an incredibly stacked year for the Best Actor category. I think we brought that up numerous times. Every time we bring up an Oscar film from 2004, we always say, oh, this year was pretty stacked because they only nominated Depp, DiCaprio, Cheadle, Eastwood, and fuck, who was the other one? Eastwood, Cheadle, DiCaprio, Depp. Oh, Jamie Foxx won. All right. So, yeah, taking out Clint Eastwood probably put in Paul Giamatti. Although when I get to my number 1, I'll be like, why did this film get more recognition or any recognition? But Sideways is just a beautiful story. The score, too, doesn't get any recognition. Every time I read a review for this movie, no one talks about the score. The score is beautiful. It's a terrific score. It's like catchy at first and then it goes to like a piano, like somber like feeling. It's a great film. The day it came out on Blu-ray, I ran all the way to Best Buy. Well, I didn't physically run. I drove to Best Buy and then I picked it up.
You should have physically run.
Yeah, okay. I'm like the runners from Chariots of Fire. The theme song plays as I'm running. But yeah, I bought it the day it came out on Blu-ray because it was a movie that I just really wanted in my collection. I love it so much. Sideways is just one of the best films I've ever seen. I think it's a film that all film lovers should check out. Great, great film. Absolutely love it. True masterpiece. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, A+. Love it so much. Sideways is my number 2. Everybody listening right now that hasn't seen it, please check it out. Thank you.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I know what your number 1 is now. It just like finally clicked to me. Oh, wow.
I'm surprised you didn't know.
No, like I knew like that in the back of my mind, you really liked it, but also the Descendants because you keep barking about it. So
I only barked about it like one time.
True, but now I know what your number one is. But anyways, my number two, I'm gonna go with Brian's number 5. I'm gonna go with The Wrestler. To many people, they would say that this is Aronofsky's favorite film. It's very hard to argue that because he's made a lot of great films, and The Wrestler is just one of those ones that kind of leaves you in awe, and you feel really kind of, I don't know, you have mixed feelings on this character that you followed this journey on. We have a retired wrestler. Or an active wrestler who was once famous back in the day. He wants some recognition. He wants to feel validated in life, and he's got a lot of problems and stuff. You can see on his face and his body that he's been beaten. His soul's been beaten. He's just a crushed individual. And at the very end, it's got one of the most poignant last shots of a movie that you'll ever see. It's just one of those ones that will kind of leave you kind of stunned, and you're like, well, goddamn, he went out. He went out and he went out and wrestled because that's what he loves, and that's one thing you kind of admire about Mickey Rourke is that he's damaging his body because of how old he is and stuff, but he wants to do it, and he wants to feel that love from people. He loves the sound of the crowd as he's like climbing on the ropes, and like he really gets into it, and that's his life. And if that's stripped away from him, he is nothing. So he spends the entire time trying to make himself relevant to people again, and it's just a really kind of sad portrayal of someone who likes to cling on to fame like that, and really kind of loves what they do. It's kind of since we're on the Birdman train right now, that's what Michael Keaton's character did. Validation. He wants the love that he once felt from back in the day, and it's really sad, but also kind of beautiful in some weird way. So yeah, The Wrestler is just really well done. And that was Mickey Rourke's movie for sure. It was also, I think, my first exposure to Marissa Tomei as well. So yeah, The Wrestler is my number 2. So with that being said, our number ones, I already know what it is, Brian. So Brian, can you please tell everyone why you have such a hard-on for Jersey?
Yes. New Jersey's my number 1. No.
The state. Just the state.
No, ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 favorite Fox Searchlight film of all time is Garden State.
I can't believe it took me like most of the episode to finally like let it click.
Here's the thing. It's not only because this film to me is the best thing that was made here in this state. This is a great story. It's a really great story. If you guys don't know what this film is, it is the directorial debut of Zach Braff. It's also written by him, and it stars him. He plays a struggling actor named Andrew Largeman. For 9 years, he hadn't gone back to his home in New Jersey. He passes away. He goes back home. You start off the movie, and he is like the most depressed guy ever. He is like literally the saddest human being ever. He is a struggling actor. He's trying to make it big. He works in the fucking Vietnamese restaurant. Vietnamese. So when he goes to New Jersey, I mean, he starts to slowly, as the days go by, he starts to realize who he is, and he starts to get better. He realizes that he is finding who he truly is, why he's happy now, and he's letting all the pain that's been inside of him out, that's been inside him for like over 15 years. Well, yeah, pretty much a decade, because like I said, he hadn't gone back home for 9 years. I was probably going to watch this movie tonight. Yeah, Garden State, I mean, did such a great job directing this film. I don't even know I don't even know why this film didn't get any recognition at the awards. This is one of the best written films I think ever. This is actually my 3rd favorite film of all time. My top 2 are Goodfellas and Catch Me If You Can. This film is right there. I've always appreciated when an actor goes on and directs, especially when it's someone you didn't even expect to do something like this, because at the time when this movie came out, Zach Braff was popular for Scrubs. Scrubs was in its 3 seasons. This movie had come out. Everyone was hearing about it from Sundance. They're like, wait a minute, the guy from Scrubs directed a movie, and then people saw it. Everyone's like, oh my god, it's fantastic. Then it comes out, everyone loved it. Everybody was praising it. I thought this film should have gotten nominated for a screenplay. I believe it got nominated for the Writers Guild Award, or the big writing award show, which I think it's called Writers Guild Award. But anyway, I digress. Zach Braff, also his acting is amazing here. This is the best performance I think he's ever given in a film. In terms of films that he didn't direct, The Last Kiss, he's fucking fantastic in that film. That film is not really that great in my opinion, but he's amazing in it. Like, he's incredible in it. I've always been a big fan of Zach Braff. I mean, he's a Jersey boy. That's awesome. And then you get a really, really cute performance from Natalie Portman, who's basically the love interest in this film, and she basically helps Andrew through this journey. Sam has a lot of problems of her own. She's loud. She's kind of annoying. She lies a lot. I mean, but she's incredible. Then you get a really kind of overlooked performance from Pierre Sarsgaard, who is obviously just in The Magnificent Seven, and he does great too. He was like Andrew's best friend from high school, and it's really awesome. Then you get the father of Andrew, who's played by Ian Holm, who's best known for playing the original Bilbo Baggins and in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's a great film. I don't know. I never really understood why I loved the film, but it gets to me. Like, it just relates to me so well. I mean, I never lost it. My parents are both still alive and healthy. They're both well. I love my family a lot. Would I go away from my family for that long? I certainly hope that doesn't happen. And like I said, it's one of the best directed films by an actor that I've ever seen. I think it's one of the best directorial debuts of the last 15 years. This movie's 12 years old. It still stands to this day. It still doesn't get old. Never gets old. The soundtrack too is great. Zach Braff has a good eye for music. That's why a lot of the music in Scrubs was great, because he was basically in charge of what songs they would put in. It was his decision. And I mean, Wish I Was Here is great, and I cannot wait for Going in Style, which is his new film coming out in April with Morgan Freeman, Alan Arkin, and Michael Caine. I cannot wait for that. That sounds awesome. It could be bad, which I'm hoping it's not, but because I'm one of the few people who loved Wish I Was Here. So yeah, Garden State is my favorite film from Fox Searchlight. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I love it so much. I don't know what Chase's number one is. I'm currently looking at my honorable mentions.
It could literally be anything.
And I'm making sure that it's not a film that he brought up, because I know he said 12 Years a Slave is not on his list. I know he said that what else do I have on here? Yeah, it's none of the films that I brought up. Ooh.
Would you like to take a guess, Mr. Sudfield?
I'm trying to go with a genre you like. You already brought up 500 Days of Summer. If you could give me the genre.
No, because that'd be giving it away. Come on. I'll give you 3 stabs at it.
Okay. 28 Days Later.
No.
Fuck. Have you seen that one?
Of course I have. You really thought I was going to put a zombie film as my number one? Come on, Brian.
I thought it, because when you said it would be, I thought you might maybe put a horror movie.
True, I did put a comedy on there, so a raunchy comedy. So,
Black Swan.
ladies and gentlemen, my top 2 spots are both Aronofsky films. My number 1 is Black Swan, which is cool because Brian also has Natalie Portman in his number 1. So let's break down the other Portman film, Black Swan, which listen, if I saw The Wrestler in theaters, I would have put that as my number 1. The only reason I put Black Swan as my number 1 because I saw it in theaters, and that ending left me sunk into my chair, and I was like, I couldn't even move. I was like, ugh. I
agree with you.
I was like,
all the way.
I was like, what happened? what was that? And then I started touching myself, and people had to leave very quickly. But Black Swan, dear God, Aronofsky, I have to revisit The Fountain. But besides that, everything that he's done is ace. Pie, Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, The Wrestler. I even like Noah quite a bit. And I do like the concept of The Fountain, but I remember watching it back in the day, and I didn't really care for it. Maybe since I have an appreciation for film now, I could go back and try to piece everything together since it takes place in 3 different kind of generations. But other than that, we're talking about Black Swan. Black Swan, Natalie Portman plays a ballerina who is very obsessed with being number one, kicking all the other ballerinas' asses and stuff. She really wants the part of the Black Swan and the White Swan in the Swan musical, the famous one. I forgot what it's called, but anyways, when you have to have both of those roles, you have to have both sides of their personality. So the White Swan, you got to be very innocent and sweet, and the Black Swan, you got to look like you're about to go kill someone. So the instructor, played by Vincent Cassel, who name dropped earlier with Irreversible, a French film, One Take. He's in that with his was then girlfriend / I think wife, I believe, Monica Bellucci or whatever. Dear God, Vincent, I don't know why you let her go. She is hot. But anyways, Vincent Cassel tells her, you need to bring out the passion. You need to bring out that energy that I want to see from the Black Swan. And she starts practicing, and she gets really obsessed with it. And then she realizes Mila Kunis' character is stomping on her ground, son. She's like, no, I want that part. So she starts practicing even harder. She even bleeds at a certain point. And then she starts getting hallucinative, and she starts, getting really friendly with Mila Kunis. And then she starts seeing shit. Like, she starts seeing a Black Swan actually behind the stage, and then she becomes one. And then the ending just leaves you in a state of shock. Because I'm not going to tell you what the ending line is, but I can tell you right now, the ending is perfect. And believe it or not, I actually just told you the ending line, but I'm not going to tell you which words are which. So that ending is perfect for that movie of obsession and drive to get what you want. It is one of those endings where you feel so relieved that the main character got to experience what she experienced that you kind of leave in just shock and awe. And this is the one that won her the Academy Award. So yeah, I love Aronofsky quite a bit. I just want this guy to make more movies. I really wanted to see his take on the Wolverine film, but to each his own. I mean, he probably wasn't going to make it either way, just because he doesn't do big blockbuster movies. But then again, he did know us, so he's got some ground on that territory now. But I'm really excited to see whatever he does next. And the fact that he's got The Wrestler and Black Swan under this production company, hopefully Fox Searchlight distributes his next one, because I'll be so excited to see it. So I'm glad Aronofsky has taken my top 2 spots. So guys, in our first top 7 episodes, check this shit out. Look at that. That is a solid fucking list right there. I'm proud of both of us. I'm like a proud parent. Look at that shit. Like, listen, I agree with him. Garden State, I actually watched because of him. And I bought it blindly because I was like, I've heard so many great things about it. Brian keeps, fucking whacking off to it. So, all right, I'll go for it. I'll watch it. Great stuff. Sideways, I have not seen, and The Way Back. But other than that, I agree with everything. And Brian needs to get on that Super Troopers train, son.
Yes,
all right.
do.
All right, so screw our list, though, but what do you guys have to say? What are some of your favorite Fox Searchlight productions? Comment, place on my face, let me know. And, guys, there's a lot of honorable mentions, so I'm just going to fly through them real fast. 28 Days Later, zombie film. 13, a coming-of-age film about a bunch of 13-year-olds that like to smoke and have sex. Hills Have Eyes, about a bunch of ball-sack-looking motherfuckers living in the mountain killing people. I Think I Love My Wife. Chris Rock wanting to cheat on his wife. 28 Weeks Later, the sequel to the zombie film. Sunshine, a really great film in space with Cillian Murphy. Juno, pregnant Ellen Page. There you go. Slumdog Millionaire, Best Picture winner of 2008. And basically, it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire mixed in with I was going to say some Slumdog, but that sounds a little racist. Next one is Cyrus. We actually discussed this a while back. That is the one where Jonah Hill plays a giant man baby, and Marissa Tomei is his mom. 127 Hours. Mr. Franco getting his arm caught based on the real life story. I was not a fan of this film, but I understand the appeal, and I kind of like it. The Beast of the Southern Wild.
Yeah, that one was
It's
okay.
fine. I don't
That
know
one
why
was
people
okay.
jizz over that one.
She was great in
Yeah,
it, but the film was just okay.
Quvenzhané Wallis. Grand Budapest Hotel. Can't forget that one. Calvary with Brendan Gleeson. That was a pretty interesting one. I really dug that one. Dawn fucking Hemingway with Jude Law. That film was so much fun. I suggest that one highly as an entertainment movie. Birdman, of course. Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl came out last year. I really enjoyed it. And Demolition came out this year. I like that one overall. So, Brian, your turn now.
All right, here we go. This isn't like in year order. Like the three that basically almost made my list were 127 Hours. Fucking love it. First non-horror R-rated film that I actually went to go see. This was around the time when I started getting into movies. Weird experience, I can tell you that, but great film. Love it to death. The Descendants, I love this one. I think it's a masterpiece. Another Alexander Payne masterpiece. 12 Years a Slave. Well deserving of its accolades for sure. 20 Days Later. I'm not the biggest horror film fan. This was directed by Danny Boyle. I love Danny Boyle. And this film is amazing with a great performance from Cillian Murphy. Slumdog Millionaire. Our friend Cinema Darling. This is like her favorite film ever. She loves this one. It's a great film. I love it as well. Juno, fantastic. Although a lot of kids my age criticize it. I don't know why. I think it's a perfect film. 500 Days Summer. Love it. Antoine Fisher brought it up on the Denzel episode a few weeks ago. Great directorial debut from him. Black Swan. Love it. Fantastic film. Great scene involving two people kissing.
Yeah. Thanks for your perv mind running amok, Brian.
Hey, don't tell me you didn't have that same thought too. Anyway, moving on.
I'm not going to say it on the internet, but yeah, I did.
Oh, please. Shame, brought up earlier. Grand Budapest Hotel, fantastic first Wes Anderson film I saw in Fantastic Mr. Fox and then Grand Budapest Hotel. Win-Win, a great underrated film with Paul Giamatti, directed by Tom McCarthy, who directed Spotlight. Cyrus, really good film with Jonah Hill, John C. Reilly, and Marissa Tomei. Boys Don't Cry, Hilary Swank won the Oscar for this for playing the dude. Great film. 13, haunting teenage film. I can't believe that Nikki Reed, who co-wrote the film, she was only 16 writing the screenplay. 16. That's crazy. That's awesome too. Too bad she then basically ruined her career by being in Twilight. I know I listened to Chase's recent episode, the podcast. I know he says that he's not really the biggest fan of Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my God. I stopped bringing this movie up.
I'm sorry.
Right, I don't think you understand. It was 2004. It was a wet, foggy day. I go to school and
why does it have to be wet and foggy?
Because it adds atmosphere, asshole. All right, so I go into school and like all these people are like, vote for Pedro, like, shut up, jerk, and that's a liger, and it's like, motherfucker, what is this? And I watched it. I was like, that wasn't even funny. But then again, I like Mastermind, so I can't.
People probably ruined it for you. It was the hype that ruined it. I've been there before too.
So. But like I said, I'm on the opposite side with Masterminds because everyone seems to shit a brick on that one. So now I understand how people felt.
I don't know why. I love Napoleon Dynamite. I just think it's great. I don't know why. I'm sorry. What's next? Once, incredible musical. John Carney directed it. He's the same guy who did Begin Again. And this year's incredible film, which is still my number one of the year, Saint Street, Waitress with Kerry Russell. This film, like, I just want to briefly talk about this. Kerry Russell's a terrific actress. She is one of the most beautiful women I think I've ever seen in my life. If anyone says Kerry Russell's ugly, fuck you.
Who says that?
I'm saying if anyone says it. I didn't say
those people are human. If anyone has never seen The Americans, she's pretty goddamn sexy in that show.
She's been sexy for like ever. Even on that Felicity show, she's been sexy. Anyway, the sad thing about this film is that I don't know if you know this story. The director of this film, she died like 2 months before the movie came out and premiered at Sundance. So it was like really somber for everybody. But it's a great film. I mean, it honors the director very well. I mean, I don't want to describe what happened to the director because it's like really heartbreaking. But it's it's currently on Broadway. There's this girl, who really loves Waitress, and she really wants to see the musical. And I'm like, I would love to see the musical, but tickets are like $250. It's like the next Hamilton right now. So, Broadway, expensive. Oh my God! See, I told you guys, Fox Searchlight makes a lot of good films. The Savages with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Laura Linney, really awesome film. The Sessions, great film. Cedar Rabbits with Ed Helms, that's a pretty good film.
Yeah,
I thought that one was really funny.
I thought that was a really just very nice little road trip movie.
I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
What else? Enough Said with James Gandolfini and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. This film is great. This is an awesome film. And then going into James Gandolfini's final film, The Drop, which was awesome. This movie was fantastic. James Gandolfini should have gotten nominated for this film, or even Enough Said. Wild with Reese Witherspoon, fantastic film. I liked it at first, but then over time, I'm like, this was actually a really great film. And I will give a shout out to Demolition, because I, like Chase, also like that film. Me and Matt, my co-host of the former Nerdy Schoolers podcast, we saw it opening weekend. We were the only two people in the theater. It was actually kind of relaxing because I don't think I ever saw a movie without anyone in the theater, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's it with the honorable mentions.
Yeah, no, and if we're gonna continue down their list, my most anticipated that they've got coming up is Jackie with
that trailer was amazing.
Yeah, once again, Natalie Portman. So
and Darren Aronofsky was kind of supposed to direct it, so he's producing it. Looks like now he's going for her second Oscar.
Yeah, I think she's got definitely a good chance just by watching it. But yeah, those are our honorable mention, guys. For dishonorable mentions, I gotta be honest with you, there's not much. But there are a couple, and once again, it's the comedies. The comedies that Fox Searchlight comes out with, like the raunchy comedies, are mostly terrible. Super Troopers is the only exception. What do I mean by that? I did not like Miss March. Do you guys remember the Whitest Kid You Know, that group? Yeah, that were relevant like 7 years ago. Yeah, they made that movie. That was awful. What else was there? I'm looking at the list right now.
Oh crap! You know a movie I forgot to put in my honorable mentions?
Oh my God, I forgot. Thank You for Smoking was
same. I was just about to say that.
Oh, I'm about to have a heart attack. That's a great film. That should have been my top 5. I apologize, list, but once again, hard to decipher. Oh, I forgot Fox Searchlight did this one. Oh, The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville.
Oh God!
Oh my God! I paid money for a theater experience for that. Like that was bad. Like I sat through the whole thing, and I bought it on DVD for some weird reason, and I looked at it like 2 years ago, and I was like, I can't own this anymore. Like it's really just it's mean spirited towards the Special Olympics, and I realized it's got like a heart of gold at the end, but Johnny Knoxville, I love you, man. I like what you do with the Jackass movies, and how I even like some of your other movies, but this is not one of them. That might be my worst one they've ever done. But I am so fucking disappointed in both of us that we didn't put Thank You for Smoking on there.
I'm disappointed as well.
God damn it. There's so many good choices on it. But guys, I still stand by my list. It's really hard to come up with shit like that. So Brian, what about the ones for you that you don't care for?
Let's see. Personally, I don't know why the Biggie Smalls biopic Notorious didn't really click with me. It's not a bad film by any means, but it just didn't really click with me, and I don't know why. I wish I loved it, but whatever. The Art of Getting By with Freddie Highmore and Emma Roberts, that was a really disappointing film. I really wanted to like that one. I was really disappointed with that. Look, I know this might be controversial to a lot of people because this is one of the most polarizing films ever. The Tree of Life, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It's beautiful, but I don't like it. Hitchcock, didn't really care for Hitchcock, the movie about the making of Psycho. This movie should have been great. And Anthony Hopkins was great in it. He sounded like him. He looked like Hitchcock. Just didn't click with me. Wanted it to. Baggage Claim with Paula Patton. Gross. Absolute shit.
It sounds gross. I've never seen it.
It's horrible. Yeah, you brought up The Rainer. Fast Food Nation. Richard Linklater. Not a good film. Darjeeling Limited. I don't know why people like this film. I think this is the only bad thing that Wes Anderson has ever directed. I hated Darjeeling Limited so much. It was so boring. I hated it so much. I like the three people in it: Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson, Jason Schwartzman, but not a good film. Roll Bounce with Bow Wow, gross. Johnson Family Vacation. Gross. God, you're right. The comedies, like they are, but my bottom two. Now I know this one. It's the one I'm about to say is not my worst, but I know a lot of people really appreciate this film. I personally don't. I really hate Waking Life, which is another Richard Linklater film. Look, I appreciate the animation. I appreciate the way the film was made, but the movie drags. It doesn't really have any emotion to it or any story to it. I don't think this is the better animated film that Richard Linklater directed. I think A Scare in Darkly is the better one that he directed, and no one ever talks about this film either, but this film got better reviews than A Scare in Darkly, which is absolutely absurd, in my personal opinion. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. But the worst thing that Fox Searchlight has ever done, and I completely forgot that they directed this film. I mean, they distributed this film. They distributed the remake of a classic horror film called The Hills Have Eyes. I cannot even believe why they would remake a classic Wes Craven film, excuse me. So much Wes Anderson. It's like, Wes Craven is a great guy. I mean, rest in peace. Miss you, man. The Hills Have Eyes is a pretty great horror film. And I've said this numerous times. I'm not a big horror fan, but when I hear about good horror movies, I watch them. And then I saw this remake, and this film made me want to cry and go in the corner and slit my wrist.
It's
Daniel
not
Craig.
That bad. If you want to look at
Daniel Craig.
If you want to look at the catalog of all the horror remakes, this is like, it's the most tame in terms of like insulting.
True, but to me, I was very insulted watching this film because I really appreciate the original one, and I never thought that Fox Searchlight would ever distribute a remake of something that's so beloved. Maybe that's like not good. Yeah, Hills Have Eyes is probably the worst thing that they've ever done. But if I had to be honest, I think Waking Life. I would rather watch Hills Have Eyes over Waking Life. Waking Life is just so fucking boring. The end. That's it.
Yeah, I'll check it out because it's one of the few Richard Linklater movies I have not seen. But that's it for this week's list, guys. Brian, what are we doing next week?
Next week, we're going back to the top 5 format. Don't worry, everybody. Next week, in honor of the accountant, we're going to be doing something a little different. Now, we've honored actors and directors and genres and now studios. We're going to honor types of characters. And Ben Affleck's character in the movie is an assassin. So we're going to do our top 5 assassins in films.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a lot of fun. We could literally choose anything. Like anything from any movie.
Hitmen do count. They count, by the way.
Hitmen count.
They count. So
those are technically assassins. So, that is going to be one of those impossible lists to either one come up with and two to guess. There's no way I'm going to fucking guess anything on his list. There might be one, just because it's more recent and it kicked a lot of ass. But other than that, I'm really excited. So that will be next week, guys. So thank you, you guys, for listening, watching, whatever have you. For next week, top 5 assassins, like Brian said. Brian, where can the people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at BrianSuts98 and on YouTube at Brian Sutfield.
Awesome. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at RealChaseLee. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to Brian's YouTube channel. All that shit is down below in the description. And the intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Check them out. Link in the description below. Peace out, everyone. Have a nice top 5/7 day. And we'll see you next week. I need to work on the outro. All right. Fucking thank you for smoking. I feel like I betrayed something tonight.